Good morning, everyone. So, as Morgan said, we're going to go through some of the new features in 4.4 EPM Live. There were lots of new things introduced, some very powerful, very helpful features. And the first ones we're going to start with here are all fall under the Quick Connect tool. So what Quick Connect really is it's an integration layer. It allows us to more easily integrate with other systems. So if you have a system that you're currently managing, let's say your Agile work in, let's say, TFS, and you want to bring in some of those work items into EPM Live for reporting and maybe timesheets and things like that, it's a lot easier to do that now than it used to be. And it's not just that specific use case. You can really connect to any system that, as long as we can get the data out of that system. And whether that's through the database, pulling it straight out, or if it's an online cloud SaaS solution and they have APIs available, we can tie into those and grab the data out. So what I'm going to show you today is the Salesforce integration, just so you can get an idea of how that looks and how that works. But this would work very similarly if you were connecting to any system. So first, I'm going to go into issues here. Let's say we want to take all of our issues and push them out into Salesforce and possibly bring them back as well, so that our sales team is always in the loop on what's going on with the projects and the solutions and such that they sold. Maybe they need to know what the issues are as well, so that they can make sure to keep the relationships well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to log in real quickly as my administrator account. This is more of an administrator function. This isn't something that a normal user would do. And we're just going to take a look at how this works. 1 second. All right. So basically for each list in EPM Live, or each app, you can connect it to something in another system. In this case, we've set up an issues object in Salesforce. That's kind of what they call their lists or apps in Salesforce, is objects. So we have that already set up over there. And it's basically just done through the list settings. So we've made some really easy user interface pages. You don't have to go onto the server and play with files and update web configs and anything like that. It's all right here from the site. So if I go into settings, list settings, and then we'll go into the integration tab here. And another cool thing about this is you can add multiple integrations. So maybe I want to link issues to Salesforce, but I also want to throw it into another system and kind of be the middleman between two systems. You can do that as well. So I can add as many of these integrations as I want. When I hit Add New Integration, it's going to ask me what type of an integration do I want to do. And these are some of the ones that are available currently. We're going to be adding to this list of kind of pre-out-of-the-box integrations. But basically, if you have another system that you want to connect with that doesn't show here, you just write a little bit of code that's going to basically get the data out of whatever system that you're using, get the data out, and then once it gets there, our code takes over and does the rest. Our Quick Connect will take it and pull it into EPM Live and put it where it needs to go and all of that. So as an example, I would then click Salesforce here, and I would keep going through these screens. I already have one set up, so I'm just going to go back here and show you what the different options available are. So when you very first go in, it's going to ask you how are you going to connect into the system? Like what form of authentication are you going to use? So I'm just using for Salesforce, I use a username and a password, and then the Salesforce gives you a security token for security purposes to help make sure it's a secure transaction. So you put that in, then it takes you to the next page. The next page is the properties. So the properties are like, how do you want this integration to work? Which system is the system of record kind of thing? If you delete an item from one system, do you want it to actually delete out of the other system and vice versa? Questions like that. Do you want it to run nightly, daily, so on and so forth? So you can see here, for instance, I can have it going live outgoing, so meaning going out of the system in real time. So as I put an issue into EPM Live, that issue in real time is going to show up over in Salesforce. Live incoming, if someone puts that in Salesforce, it's going to show up over here in EPM Live. You also have the option of doing it timed, so maybe like nightly or daily or monthly or weekly or whatever you need to do. You have that option as well. And the reason for that would be if you had a lot of data passing back and forth, you might not want it running in real time all day long. For performance reasons, you might want it to run at night when not too many people in the system, things like that. So, just depending on the nature of the integration, you do have that choice. I already mentioned the deletion. You can choose if you want to allow deletion from either side and if it actually deletes the item in the other side. And then the same with addition. If I add an item in EPM Live, do I want it to show up over in Salesforce, and back and forth. So basically then you're going to pick the object you're mapping the users between the two systems by their email address in most cases. If you wanted to use an ID or something, you definitely could do that. So it's all very configurable. It's all on these pages so that you don't have to write any code or do anything like that on the EPM Live side. And then if we already have our integrations created for you, for instance, for Salesforce, there's no code at all. You just connect up. And then the next one is you do your field mappings, basically. So let me go ahead and open that up. So on this page, you then pick, how are we going to map the data in EPM Live to the data in Salesforce? So for instance, I would say, I have a description column in EPM Live. Maybe there's a description column in Salesforce. I would select that, and now you can see that it's going to pass the data between those two columns. So you just go through and do your field mapping, and then that's it. You're connected up. The data is going to start syncing, and you're going to be ready to go. So as you saw earlier, that out of the box, we have a few of these integrations already developed, and there will be more to come. We have some more on our roadmap that we'll be releasing. One of the really powerful ones, though, is the SQL one that you may have saw when I was in there. That allows you to tap into any SQL database and pass data back and forth from the SQL database, into the list here. And so if you have any tool that's using SQL, and there's a lot of tools out there that the database of those tools are SQL databases, you can connect with those right now without any extra or anything, unless you have some special cases or something. But for the most part, that will work. So it's a really powerful one for sure. All right. So that's Quick Connect. It's a really great tool to help you connect and get your different business systems to integrate together. Excuse me. And we're really excited about it, and we plan to keep just coming out with as many of those integrations as we can, kind of pre-canned, so that when you get in there, you can connect your systems very seamlessly, very effortlessly. All right. The next tool we're going to talk about that was released with the 4.4 release is the Optimizer. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the Projects app here and load up some of my projects. The Optimizer is a tool that we really saw a gap for that really helps you to tie all of your portfolio management together. So if you're familiar with EPM Live, we have the ability to create resource plans and cost plans, and then you can analyze those costs, and you can analyze the resources, and you can do all of this planning and come up with what-if scenarios and figure out which projects you're going to do and when you're going to do them based on the resources needed and your amount of resources you have, and then the costs needed and the amount of budget that you have, and so on and so forth. So we had all these great tools, but the way we tied it all together was within a view here. You could look at all of that information in a view. You would set up a view that you liked, and you could go through and rank the projects and look at their prioritization scores and such, and figure out which projects were the best, which ones were you going to do. Well, we have this new tool, the Optimizer, that really allows you to do just that, to optimize your portfolio. So when you're going and you're selecting your projects, based on all of that data you've done and all of that analysis you've done, you can really tie it all together with the Optimizer and try to make the best choices possible with the least amount of effort, and do it all in one place. So what I've done is I've selected some projects here. So let's say these are all my proposed projects. I'm selecting more just so we have more data here. I'll select a bunch of them. Then I'm going to go ahead and open up the Optimizer for all of these projects. And it's really just a choosing tool to help me choose which projects I'm going to do. So we've came up with our plans of when projects are going to start and when they're going to finish, and which ones we're going to do, or which ones we want to do anyway. Now we need to really figure out, well, which ones are going to give us the most benefits and such based on whatever our business drivers are, and really solidify this and pick. These are the ones that we're going to do. Here's the time period that we're going to do. It's kind of the very last step here. So it happens when you very first come in, it shows you all of your projects, and it's because I haven't selected a strategy yet. So strategies are configurable, so you can come in here and you can create your own strategy. It could be based on budget, it could be based on your resource costs, it could be based on actual costs that you think you're going to have, it could be based on planned benefits scores, so on and so forth. You can really create any strategy you want, but basically what a strategy is, an example of a strategy, is I have $2,500,000 budget, and I need to figure out which projects I'm going to do within that budget. And then you have some business drivers or some criteria that's going to allow you to help filter through these and figure out which ones are the best, and it'll still let you be within your budget. So if I drag my filters all the way out here, you can see that, actually let me switch down to the $1 million budget just so it lights up red here so we can show a little bit better. Okay. So if I have $1 million budget and I do all of these projects that are selected here, then it's going to take me $1,786,000 to do that. And I just don't have the money to do that, so I need to figure out which ones I'm going to do. So what I've done is I've set up a strategy that I have some filters here based on prioritization score and planned benefits. So, for instance, how am I going to filter these projects out? Well, I just want to do the ones that have a prioritization score that's higher, a better score. So I'll drag this little guy to the right here, and as I'm doing that, it's filtering out projects based on, this prioritization score. So all the projects that have a prioritization score under 44 are now filtered out. I'm only doing these ones, but you know what? I'm still not quite within my budget. So I also only want to do the projects that give me the most benefits, let's say. So I can drag that over, and there we go. So based on the optimization choices that I've made here, it's now showing me these 3 projects are the best ones that also fit within my budget. Then from there you can say, well, that's all great, but this Microsoft Exchange upgrade, we really need to do this. I don't really care if it doesn't have that great of a prioritization score or whatever it is. We need to do this for whatever reason. So I can just take it here and click on it, and I can say, this one's in. And that does push me a little bit over my budget, so I need to figure out which one I'm going to knock out and so on and so forth. So you can use this tool to figure out which projects you're going to do, but then you can also force ones in and out if there's any other information that's not really being captured here that you're aware of. But the cool thing is you can add in as many of these filters, and you can use any ones you want. You can filter by anything. You can filter by project type, by department, by planned benefits, prioritization score, resource hours. I mean, you can put whatever you want in here and create your strategies and figure out which projects you're going to do. So it's a really great tool to help you tie it all together. So that's the optimizer, and we're really excited about that. We've had a lot of customers that have started to use that already, and it seems to be helping them. And we plan to improve it over time as well. We're going to be adding more features into it and such to try to keep it growing and getting better and easier to use and more valuable. The next tool that I'm going to show is the new chart wizard. So the new chart wizard is not so much just the wizard itself, it's the chart too. So this is the wizard here. I just added it to the page earlier. Basically, you can click on this and it's going to take you through a really easy wizard to help you build a chart that looks very similar to our old charts. These are our old charts here. They're Silverlight charts. Basically, the new charts, though, there's some other benefits to them besides just the fact that it's easier to set up with the wizard. It'll walk you through and it'll help you pick which data you want to look at and what chart type and so on and so forth. So it does make that very much nicer. The other thing is that they're now in HTML. So the great thing about HTML is, one, they're mobile friendly. So when you go and you browse to, say, this dashboard page here and you want to see all of these charts, you'll be able to see them, whereas the Silverlight charts weren't so mobile friendly. Most mobile devices don't allow Silverlight or don't let you download Silverlight. There's no version of that for them, but HTML is pretty much universal. So that's one great thing. The other great thing is that they now tie into our reporting database, and what that does is just makes it a lot faster. When loading these charts, it was actually loading the data out of SharePoint, out of the lists directly. This is more of a direct SQL query to flat data, so if you're familiar with that, basically it just makes it load faster. So they're going to be a lot better performance as well. So we're really excited about the new charts. We plan to build more features into them as well. We're, things like printing and so on and so forth. There's lots of things on the roadmap for these charts to help really make them do what we want to do. And the great part is the HTML really opens it up, so we have the freedom to do that. Silverlight charts are a little bit more hard to work with and hard to add features to and such, and they're not quite as flexible. So the HTML charts are really going to be a great feature right now and especially going on. Cool. So the next feature I'd like to show is timesheets, and we've always had timesheets, or for a long time anyway, almost since the beginning of the product. But we have a new version of the timesheets. We call it Timesheets 2.0. So Timesheets 2.0 are very similar to the old Timesheets. They have a new look and feel, a new user interface. They're a lot friendlier. They're a lot easier to use. And the big thing is they're a lot faster as well. So if performance is something key to you, which it is to most, these load really fast. So if you have a lot of data in your timesheet, or you're looking through a lot of data to figure out which items you're going to add to your timesheet and such, they definitely work a lot faster. As well as the submitting of them goes into a queue now, so you don't have to wait for it to be submitted. You just can submit it and leave, and it'll take care of itself. So it's a really cool feature. But basically, if you've seen the other one, this will be new to you. If you haven't, then this will be new to you either also. So basically, it's just a new look and feel. It makes it really easy to work with. So for instance, if I want to add my work here, I can auto-add work, and that's just going to put all my work in there for this particular time period that I'm assigned to. I can also add my non-work. But before, when you used to hit add work, you'd put a screen down below and you'd have to scroll down and go look in it and find out, which items you were working with, and it made the screen really big, and it was just a little bit hard to work with. So now when you hit add work, it does it in more of a pop-up window here. It's more of a wizard type of feel to walk you through finding your work. So I can see here's all the items that are assigned to me in the particular project that they're in and such, and you're going to see any item that's marked as a timesheet item in here that's assigned to you. From there, you can switch your views, and maybe I don't want to look at just my work. I want to look at all work, so I can hit Show All Work here. I can also do a quick search, and that pops up my search bar here. I can search by project or priority and so on and so forth. And then I can choose my timesheet item, hit Add, and it's going to put that into my timesheet here. There's another feature that's more of a stopwatch feature that you can now use. It's kind of cool. You click Start, and then it starts counting, and then when you hit Stop, it'll put that time for whatever the current day is right into your timesheet for you. So instead of coming in here and hitting 8, you would start your stopwatch, stop it, and then it would just put in the 8 for you if you had worked 8 hours. So it's kind of a cool tool to help you keep track of what you're doing as well. But as I said, the big things are definitely the look and feel. It's just a lot easier to move around and add your items and work with it, as well as the performance. The loading of these items every time are a lot faster because it's loading them from a different database. It's a lot quicker. All right, so that's it for timesheets. The next one is going to be linked tasks. So we've created the ability to be able to link tasks between different project schedules. So this is similar to a master projects type concept if you're looking to do something like that. We're going to be building this out more so that it is more like full-on master projects, but we'll look at and show you what it does right now. For right now, this is also only in our project planner. If you're using Microsoft Project, we currently don't do that. That is on the roadmap, I believe, for early December, if I remember correctly, is the date. But we will be putting basically the same functionality into our project publisher, which is if you're using Microsoft Project to manage your schedules in EPM Live. So it's a really great tool, and it's going to all integrate very well. So basically what you do is I have a project here, and say I'm the project manager of this project. I'm going to go ahead and hit Edit Plan and open up my project schedule here. And I'm using our online project planner, so I'll go ahead and open that up. I'm not using Microsoft Project at the moment. So our online project planner, if you're not familiar, is a tool that allows you to build your project schedule and manage your project schedule right within EPM Live over the web. No need to download any other any other tools or applications, and no need for any other licenses if you're an EPM Live customer as well. So it's a really great tool. It's kind of a lighter weight version of Microsoft Project, I guess I would say. It has a lot of the same features. There's some different features that we have that integrate very nicely with EPM Live, like comments and things like that. But it's a great tool. So what you can do is I'll go ahead and create a task here. I'll call this Task 1. And then there's a new button here called External Task. I'll click on External Task, and it's going to load up a wizard here to help me find what task I want to bring in and link to this particular project. So let's say I have a dependency in another project that, I can't start this task until a task in another project is finished, kind of a thing. So we're going to be able to replicate that here. So I'll say, that task is in the Xbox DVD project. I know that it is, so I'll hit Next. And then it's going to show me all the tasks for that particular project here. So I can see all the tasks, and here it is, Design Complete. I can't start this particular task until the design is complete. So I'll select that. I'll hit Add Task, and it's going to add that task into my schedule, but as more of a ghost task. And you can see there's a little indicator here showing this is a linked task. This isn't an actual task in my schedule. So this task is locked down. I can't edit anything in it. It's all editable in the other schedule, in the Xbox DVD schedule. So, but what I can do in here is I can create now a link between these two tasks. So I'll select both of my tasks here, and I'll hit my link button, and I can create my relationship, and maybe there's a lag time in between of them. So then once I have my relationship, if this task moves out or moves up, it's going to also drag this task with it. So I have that ability to really get, without having to contact that other project manager every day, say, hey, is this task done? Every day when I come in and look at my schedule, or whenever I look at my schedule, or if I get a notification saying my schedule's changed, I'm going to know why it is, and it's going to be right here. It's going to, keep those together. So it's a really powerful feature that allows you to help, manage, tasks that are really dependent on tasks in other projects, which happens a lot. So as I said, we will be building that into Microsoft Project as well, so you'll be able to do that in there. And there's also other functionality planned for that as well to do more master schedule type functionality. All right. The next feature I'd like to talk about is the drill down reports, drill down dashboards. We have lots of different reports in the system. There's over 100 different reports in the system out of the box. But what we saw is we had dashboards within the system, and then we had reports over here in the reports section. But we didn't really have, like printable dashboards and really easy drill-inable dashboards. So you can say, I want to look at this project at a whole and then drill in and just see the budgets and just see those types of things. So we put together these new dashboard reports that are really nice to help you do that, and I'll show you how they work and what they look like. So if I come in here to my report section under the projects section, these are projects reports, I can expand the drill in dashboards here, and I'm going to go ahead and open up the main one. So these are all of the different dashboards. If I wanted to jump just right into budget without kind of drilling in, I could do that. I could just go right to that. Or I can start from the home dashboard, the kind of main dashboard here. So I'm going to do that. So I'll go ahead and open that up. I'm going to select either one project, or I can select multiple projects. So I could view, entire portfolio of projects right here if I wanted to. So why don't I do that? I'm going to go ahead and select, let's say, a bunch of them here. And then I'll hit apply. So it's going to go out, it's going to grab all that data, it's going to pull it in, and it's going to give me a really nice dashboard of how my project is going overall. It has some KPI kind of gauges and such that are going to show me what's going on here. And all right, there we go. So let me expand that so we can see it. So you can see it builds this dashboard. It gives me a total kind of overall health here, and that's based on all of the different major health points here. So based on my budget status, you can see is doing okay. My schedule status is almost yellow, but I'm still in the green. My work status is really good. So we're not spending too much time on this. And my issue status is in the yellow here. So there's something going on with issues. I maybe need to look into that. And then based on the average of all these, it gives me kind of an overall health. So I can see, am I in the red? Am I in the green? Am I in the yellow? How am I doing? Just very quickly, very easily right here. If I want to see some more details about the projects, I can come down here and I can see when they're finished and what their budget is and what their % complete is. And it's very easy to add other fields in here if there's other details that you want to see on this particular report. The great thing about all these reports is that they're easily exportable or printable. So if I wanted to export this out to PDF and email this to someone, or to Word or to Excel or whatever it might be, lots of different file types here, I can do that. I can also print these out and take them to a meeting or whatever it might be. So they're definitely great for putting in PowerPoint presentations and such. So the way it drills in is all of these are basically links. So, I'm not doing so well on budget status. Let's say I can click on budget status, and it's going to drill me into a dashboard that's now all focused on budgets and costs and such. So I have my budget dashboard here. I'm showing budget versus actual costs, benefits versus actual costs, cost variance, net value, so on and so forth. And then when I'm done looking at budget, I can just hit the back button here to the first page. And it's going to redirect me back. Maybe not. Oh, there it is, wrong button. Hit that back button, and that'll take me back to the home page, and then I can go and look at schedules or issues or so on and so forth. And there's some really cool dashboards in here. For instance, in issues, you can see average time to resolution close and such. In schedule dashboard, I can see the percentage of overdue milestones. It looks like I have a lot of overdue things here. Go ahead and go back. So they're really cool dashboards that allow you to see what's going on with your projects very quickly and drill into a more detailed level as well. And they're also printable, exportable. So it's a really nice tool that you can use, new reports. If you're already using EPM Live and you don't have these, there's an app in our App Store. You can just go install that app and it'll add these for you right into your site, and you can start taking advantage of these right now as well. All right. The last thing that I'd like to talk about, and I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's our Ideation App, and I'm just going to change sites here to our apps demo site. The Ideation App has been out for a little while, but we've recently, kind of put it out there more. We were kind of testing it out up front, and now we've really fully released it, and it's definitely ready to go. And we've been getting a lot of interest in it. People are using it, and it seems to be working out well. So we'll go ahead and look at that really quickly here. I'm going to switch to the Ideas community. We have it set up in its own community here. The Ideation App basically allows for the capturing of ideas, and then you can filter and process through those ideas and turn them into then concepts. And once it becomes a concept, you put a little bit more work into it, you put a little more effort into it, you figure out really what you're going to do. So an idea might be, no work on Fridays. It's a great idea. And then as a concept, we start to figure out, well, how is that actually going to affect us? Is that going to decrease productivity? Are we going to have to hire more people, right? So you start to work it out a little bit more as a concept. And then, once the concept's built out a little bit more, you then prioritize those concepts, and you figure out really, which ones you want to do, right, at the next higher level. And so once you figure out which ones you want to do, you promote those to proposed projects, and then it goes into your whole project management life cycle. You build out your resource plan and your cost plan, and you build your schedule, and you start doing all of these things, whatever you do within your project management cycle. So it really helps as a front end on your project management system to have this idea capturing system here that allows you to filter through the ideas and figure out what you're going to do, right? Which projects you're going to do, really. And this doesn't have to be the only input for your projects. This can just be one particular place where projects, ideas can come from. You could also have a project request list or so on and so forth to help with that. So there's dashboards built in. It's a full-on, what we call a bundled app. So it's a lot of features in here. You can see things like most voted ideas by creator. You can tie a whole incentive program into this to help get people to, submit ideas, and they're actually notified when their ideas are promoted to concepts and so on and so forth. So it helps, try to help get people involved, get them submitting their ideas, and figure out which ones are the best ideas, so that you can get those done and help provide more value to your company. So it's a really great tool. So that's pretty much it for all the features that I'm going to show today. As for 4.4, if you're already an existing customer, there are also a lot of fixes and improvements to some other features that were made, but those were really all the new things that came out within 4.4. So it was a really big release. We had lots of things in it. There's lots of new stuff to try out. We encourage you to go try it out. If you're not a customer, go sign up for a trial or get a demo or something like that. There's obviously a lot more features in the system that I didn't cover. These are just all of the new features. So we're really excited about that, and the next release will be coming up soon. So we'll talk to you then. All right. I think that's it for the day. So thank you all for joining, and we'll talk to you. I think in 2 weeks is the next webinar. This webinar. There's Tech Tuesday every week. Cool. All right.